Well, I finally checked out Duncanville, one of Fox's new adult animated sitcoms, and I have to say, this is a fairly difficult show to talk about, especially in this quick review format, because there's a lot I want to say, most of it being negative, but most of the positive stuff I can say without giving spoilers. It makes for an interesting dynamic for this series called Quick Reviews on my channel. I want to stay away from spoilers and push you in either direction of watching or not watching the show. In the case of Duncanville, I feel like you probably shouldn't watch it quite yet. This is definitely one of those shows that gets an incredibly shaky start. It falls into a lot of bad and lazy joke traps. Like, here, I'll set a trap. It's like a bear trap, see? And then you drop into that bear trap a joke about kids on their phones. There you go. Up, it got you. Now you gotta put that in your TV show. It's lazy, it's boring, it's not funny, it's played out. It just does not work, and that happens a lot in this show. However, when the jokes are well thought out and clever and put into the show, it works. Believe it or not, if effort's put into something, it works. Take notes, Adam Sandler. This show is perfectly half and half. It's half good and half bad. The best part of this show by far is the voice acting, especially with Amy Poehler, who's Leslie Knope in Parks and Rec. She is hilarious in that show and in this show. She voices the titular character Duncan and the mother character. And if you're wondering what this show's about, because I didn't say it at the start, it's about Duncan, his friends, and his family getting into situations in their kooky town. And comedy ensues. That's about it. It's that straightforward. It'll bounce around a lot. It's kind of an unfocused show in terms of characters. You think it's called Duncanville. Duncan is going to be the center of attention. He's not. There's a lot of attention changes in this show, not just with A plots and B plots, but in terms of the episodes themselves. Some episodes, Duncan seems to just be a background character. In other episodes, he's the main character. Sometimes he's right on that B plot level. It's a little bit bizarre. I thought since it was called Duncanville, it'd be mostly focusing on Duncan, but it's really not in that area. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. That gives other characters a chance to be developed. But in your first season, you really want to focus on kind of a core group. And this show bounces around just a little bit too much to make that happen. It might have a bit too big of a cast. It might just move around too much. It's hard to say what exactly causes this lack of focus other than just how the stories are presented. And I'm not going to spoil any of the stories because even though I think this show is half and half, I think that the half good is so good that you should probably check it out, but acknowledge that the half bad is so bad that there's going to be stuff in this show that you won't laugh at and that you'll think is boring, and that might even make you want to turn it off. There are parts of this show that are so unfunny that I actually had to pause it and stop for a bit, which is why it took me so long to get through it, because there's really great stuff out there to watch right now. So Duncanville definitely shouldn't be your first choice in adult animation, especially this year with a new season of Rick and Morty that you can check out on Hulu, with Solar Opposites, F is for Family, BoJack Horseman, all these amazing TV shows you could be watching if you haven't seen them yet. You should check out those first. However, if you're clean through all those shows and are looking for some new adult animation, I could say you could probably give Duncanville a try, but realize it has an incredibly shaky start. And you might not want to start off on season 1, but instead when season 2 rolls around, because I am highly confident that the season 2 of this show is going to be far better. It seems like one of those shows that has so much potential in its first season that it doesn't capture, but is thankfully granted a second season. It's already been confirmed and is due out sometime in spring of 2021. We'll see if that actually holds. Maybe it's more like summer or fall. Doesn't really matter so long as we get it at some point to see if it can live up to its potential, because there is a lot here. The cast of characters is fantastic and the voice acting fits all of them perfectly. The setting allows you to move around a whole lot and tell some really kooky, crazy stories that haven't been told before in your own creative way. So there's definitely potential here. There's even moments in the show where I had a bit of nostalgia for my time in middle school and high school, which are two focusing points of this show, which is very rare in my life and in this show. It doesn't happen a whole lot, but it definitely happened a few times. Plus, the theme song's pretty good. So all that stuff going around, the theme song being the lesser point, but I just need to bring it up because I really like the theme song to this show. Same thing with Hoops, which I checked out on Netflix, except that show is just overall bad. This show has some really good parts to it, but I think it's one of those shows that you should probably wait until the second season comes out to check out, unless you've already cleaned your shelf of all your adult animation and are craving more. That's the only reason I can think why you should watch this show. Other than that, there's no real reason to it. That being said, if I had to give this show a score out of 10, half and half, probably give it a 5. However, it gets the first ever Mr. Cow bonus point for featuring one of my favorite characters of all time, Alf. Now, I am what is known as a Alf fanatic, as said by the fan base and around various public parks in America. Someone you should look out for. I'm a big fan of this show. I grew up with it somehow. Don't know how that happened. Guess I have cool parents, but I'm a big fan of Alf. I have 2 of these things, for God's sake. So 1 extra point awarded to Duncanville. Same rules apply. Probably wait till season 2, but Alf is in it, and that's easily the best episode. I'm not even kidding. The episode with Alf in it, by far, is the best episode of this show, and I'm sorry to say it as an Alf fanatic, it's not because of Alf. It's because that one I feel is written the best and has the most creative premise and has the best jokes. Overall, just the best episode, even though there are some weird parts to it. Overall, Duncanville is nothing incredible, and I can't recommend you check it out right now, but Season 2 has the potential to be all the more better. And I will be here talking about Season 2 later down the line, so you should go ahead and subscribe to make sure you see it when that video comes out, and also keep up to date on some other shows that have been coming out. I have another Jack Stauber project to talk about. I'll have the first one I talked about linked at the end of this video. Opal, a very creepy and interesting short on Adult Swim Smalls, and I will be talking about another Adult Swim Small by Jack Stauber, the same creator, here in the next few days. I'm very excited to talk more about him, and I'm hopeful that Duncanville turns into something really good, but unfortunately we'll have to wait and see, and I cannot recommend you check it out right now, unless of course you've watched everything else. But that's all from me. I will see you all next time. Goodbye.